That light was absolutely kicking off. At a place called Ganavan Sands, Glennan. Getting a big camera. Whew. Oh, the rain's coming in now. It's just incredible. I had to literally chuck all my gear down. Good morning and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to do something just a little bit different. I've come out to Glennan and I just realised I've made a couple of videos and not really properly introduced myself really. So this video is just a bit about myself really. Bit selfish I suppose, but anyhow. So we'll go for a little walk in the woods and I'll chat about how I got into photography. So, my name is Liam Gallishan. I'm from Scarborough, North Yorkshire, and I've been probably taking photos for about 6 years, and it's been a short but long kind of journey and learning experience. It's taken a while to get where I am now, but I've always sort of seen growth in how my photography has been looking in the past year or two since I've been going to university in Cumbria and come to Scotland. Now, I first got into photography from using a phone, as everyone pretty much does, but my first phone that I really got into photography with was a Samsung Galaxy S7 or S8 when I started doing all the curved screens and all that sort of stuff, and it sort of opened my eyes to more photography ideas because it was a really good camera, and it managed to get me outdoors, go on walks, look at the world a little bit differently, take photos, have a bit of fun. And the sort of system that the camera had, it had some sort of pro or expert mode, so I was able to go into the settings and choose what I wanted to shoot. I'd use auto, I'd look at things sort of hands distance away, take a photo, and it had that sort of selective focus, I think it called, where everything was blurred in the background and the foreground was always in focus. And that sort of opened my eyes a bit more to photography as well, sort of looking at different dynamics of what we can see, perceived what we can see on the camera. And that's sort of where my journey started. Now, luckily for me, living in Scarborough was quite a lovely location, so I had lots of scenic walks along the coastlines, following all the ridge lines, going through nice woodlands, similar to what Glennan is, maybe a little bit different, managed a bit differently, but similar-esque and sort of similar conditions, because being on the east coast and quite far north, it was still quite wet, quite windy, but it was a nice place to get out and about and go for walks. So I'd quite often in my early 20s go out for nice walks into the woodlands, take my phone with me, take pictures of sunsets, sunrises, and it just opened my eyes to what a camera can do. And I started to sort of invest a bit more in photography and looked more into getting my own professional camera, as you do. Now, one thing with getting a big camera is that it is a big investment, it's a lot of money, and I perceived getting a camera like what I've got now, which is the Sony A7R3, that's what it is. Getting a camera like that is not my first camera, but getting a camera like this, I always assumed it would just automatically make me take better pictures, which is just a bit silly when I think about it, because I didn't understand the fundamentals of photography. So when I first bought my first camera, which is a Canon 6D, I did ask friends who knew more about photography what's going to be the best camera. Luckily, I had a friend who mentioned about getting a Canon 6D, and it was a full frame camera, and then that really elevated everything that got me into photography more over the years. Just take on a bit of a walk, the sun's started to come out just behind me, it's looking quite nice actually. I might even start taking some photos, but back onto the previous topic, getting into photography. So I got my first big camera, it was a Canon 6D. I had a kit lens, which is a 50mm 1.8, cost £50. The Canon 6D I think cost me, I don't know, I'm going to guess about $350, something like that. So for me when I was younger, it was a big investment, just spending all that money on just a camera. Whereas my phone, I could make phone calls, take photos, play games, do all that sort of stuff, but a camera is literally your sole purpose to be a camera, or at least Canon 6D was. So it was quite hard to learn all of the fundamentals around photography by just going all out and getting a camera. So I decided to go on YouTube and try and learn more about it. So going onto YouTube and typing in how to use a camera was quite a broad thing to look at, because everyone and their dog pretty much makes videos on how to use a camera. So it's quite hard finding who would be more of an inspiration of what I want to take photos of, what do I like taking photos of, you know. And I've never been into sports. I never did sports photography. I was never into that. I didn't do wildlife because as a young sort of teenager and going into my early 20s, I'd be out on walks, but I'd never really see much that I was like, I really want to get a picture of that bird or that deer or whatever it may be. So going out and about on walks, I was always fascinated how the light changes in the woodlands or sort of on a cliff top or by the sea. So I was into landscape photography, so I had to kind of narrow down on YouTube and go landscape photography tips and things. Now, when it came to understanding fundamentals behind how to use a camera, there was one guy on YouTube who I first went to, and he's got about 4 million subscribers, and that was Jared Poland, or Frono's Photo. Odd name to get to grips with, but the more I watched it, the more fun it was, and the more I learnt, really. And he's a guy who's in Philadelphia who does lots of YouTube channels on like recent gear. He does a lot of sports photography and portraits, which is not my thing, but he did a lot of tutorials on how to take photos, how to understand fundamentals behind photography, and just how to use a camera. So after discovering Jared Poling on YouTube and learning more about fundamentals of photography, I sort of want to look into different styles of photography, and you know, landscape photography is what I really want to get into. So I looked at some other people who sort of inspired me, and there's quite a few actually, but notably for adventure and making vlogs and going on trips away to France and all that sort of stuff, it was Thomas Heaton, which I think a lot of people would have seen. I've got his photography book. I'll show you what that book looks like, but that's really good. And he was a guy, again, he's got a lot of followers. He's got about probably 400,000-500,000 people on YouTube, and he makes tons of videos of content around him going in his van around Europe, going to Iceland quite recently, going to Antarctica, all that sort of fun stuff. And he sort of got me into going out and exploring all these new locations, getting into more different types of shots as well. So the average shot you could just take on your phone, and how to make that better, and looking at different dynamics in photography. So he got me out there doing that. Now I was gonna start rambling on a bit more, but then the conditions just changed. There's over there there's a hilltop, I'm not really sure what it's called, but it's got snow on it, which is, I've not seen snow for a while, and there's still lots of autumn colours around as I'm trekking through all of the bracken. So that's just quickly stop recording and get my long lens out and try and get some snaps. I'll pop on the screen in just a second, but that's what I saw just now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start having a bit of a walk. I'm going to focus a bit more on what I'm taking photos of, and I'm going to take you to a location that I discovered the other day, and I came out and took a lovely morning shot, and yeah, let's head that way. I almost forgot where this spot was, but this is a spot there. Those are the peaks behind, which were just covered in snow. Now down here, this is where I was a few days ago, taking pictures of all those birches over there, getting all that nice colour. The sun was coming from all the way over there, so it was side lighting all of those birches up there. Now I can just see the peak coming through actually there as well. Whew, oh, sorry if the video's a bit in a random position, but behind me it just absolutely set off with the light coming from that direction over there, and it was just lighting up all those birch trees again. Just as I mentioned, I was here the day before. Oh, it was just incredible. I had to literally chuck all my gear down on the floor, change lenses, get the 100 to 400 on, take a panoramic of all that. Probably took about 5 panoramics. I'm going to have a look at them when I get back. Taking some long shots over there as well, because there's lots of birches that were being backlit, and there were just tons of nice shots that were just kicking off, and it's 25 to 12. Like usually this sort of light you never see it until early morning, later evening, but it's middle of the day and it was just absolutely glorious. But what I'll do, I was going to show you an image what I took here a few days ago, or a week ago or so, but I'm gonna do a comparison. If you want to let me know which one you prefer, if you prefer today's shot or if you prefer last week's shot, to let me know. But that was absolutely amazing. I'm so happy that I've just arrived here at the right time. As I was saying before, just kind of want to touch on what I was trying to go through before about how I got into landscape photography and the gear I got and all that sort of stuff. It's just, it all kind of boils down to just getting out there and enjoying what you do, you know. I go out for walks. I used to go out for walks quite a lot. Now it does change a bit when you start getting into photography. You know, I kind of come out with the purpose to get a shot, but as I did sort of make a point earlier, it's not about getting the shot, it's about the experience of getting out there and just being in nature and all that sort of stuff. But a lot's changed over the years, and of course, as I mentioned before as well, my camera setup has changed as well. You know, I've invested a lot of money into getting all the gear that I thought I needed, which it does help because I'm getting all these incredible shots which I never would have got before. So the gear I've got now is my Sony A7R3. I've got this tripod which my camera's on now, which it definitely can do with an upgrade because the ball head keeps coming loose. I've got on my camera now is the Zeiss 16-35 f4 Sony. I've also got a 28-75 Tamron 2.8 which I used for weddings before. I've got an 85mm 1.8 which again I use for weddings. I don't use that for landscape photography. And I've got my telephoto 100-400 Sigma. And all of them, the kit that I've got, it's allowing me to get all these incredible shots, but I didn't have that kit before. So the learning path, the learning curve that I've had to go exponentially up and know what I need to invest in and know what shots I take, and I'm not just buying gear just because I thought it might be quite nice to get that gear. I'm buying this gear to allow me to take shots that I want to take that I couldn't get before, and it is allowing me to do that. And as I say, it's just a hell of an investment. So if you ever do get into landscape photography, you know, you can always ping me a message, ask a friend who's getting into photography. You know, you need advice on what gear to get because there's so much gear out there and so many different creators who are out there recommending all the newest £10,000 lenses and £5,000 bodies and things like that. You know, it's just expensive, so it can get really confusing at first. But yeah, once you get a good setup and you know what you're taking pictures of, the possibilities are pretty much endless, really. Right, so I'm gonna have to start wrapping it up because it's looking a bit grim and it started to rain. I don't really want to get my camera knackered. So yeah, thanks again for watching. I'm going to leave all of the pictures that I have caught today in a little montage at the video just afterwards as well. What I might do as well is feature some of the video that I took yesterday, which was when I was down on the seafront. So that was only a short little clip and it's not really enough to make a video, but I might pop it onto the end of this one just so you can see what I've been doing out on location, getting stuff by the sea as well. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully see you in the next one. Looking all the way out to the Isle of Mull, with the sun just setting just behind Mull. The waves are crashing, the wind is quite harsh at the moment, which is sort of creating some nice dramatic waves coming up. So I'm gonna take some nice shots and we'll see what happens. Damn, it's really hard getting shots by the sea when everything's all kicking off. I'm having to switch between my phone and and use my camera to do some recording, but it's absolutely amazing. I'll try and get some video of how the light's kicking off, but have a look at that. See if I can get that down again. I mean, look at that. And that's how close I am to the sea as well. So I'm definitely getting water on the lens, so I want to make sure I clean all that before I get in. But yeah, this is a random evening. The light kicking off at the bedroom, so I thought, why not? I'll come out, and certainly being rewarded with it today. Well, that was a rather short video. Bit of a panic there. I've managed to get quite a few shots actually, but I've not managed to record them, and I'm probably going to get a cold after this because it's absolutely freezing. Thanks again for watching. I will leave some details below how to get onto my Instagram, Facebook, see all that fun stuff, and I'll leave a nice little montage of the lovely images you've seen in today's video and some you've not seen after this video. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Hopefully see you in the next